97. And I want to welcome to my show another fantastic guest here. This is Gigi Ladorf Weaver. Did I get that right?
You did.
There you go. And of course, people who know my show are usually used to me getting the names wrong, and I do apologize for most cases. But Gigi, one of the head spokespeople for the Sustainable Cobourg. What is our title down there?
I'm president.
You are the Prez.
I am.
Hail the Prez. A lot of great things going on as well. Looking to, we got a brand new season coming up. We got the summer season coming up. Sustainable Cobourg. Give us a little bit of a backstory on for those of us out there who aren't familiar with it.
Oh, sure. So Sustainable Cobourg was born, I think it was exactly 2008. And there was a huge movement by sort of a grassroots group here in Cobourg that were taking the results of the International Panel on Climate Change in 2007, where it was announced very vociferously that climate change was undeniable. Mm-hmm. It used to be called global warming, and I think after the Paris Accord now we're going back to calling it global warming because we're seeing those things happen. But in 2008, that's a year after the 2007 IPCC report, which also took place in Paris. This grassroots group evolved saying, we need to do something. And we need to do something from our sensibilities and not leave it up to other agencies. We need to create something now. So it was actually, they split into two groups. One group named itself Go Green Together, where we still have a building and our office is there. And the other group, which is the group that I belong to, wanted to have absolutely total freedom. So we're an NGO. We are not affiliated with any government organization, no political organization. We are completely independent. We are not beholden to anyone.
But it's a not-for-profit organization as well.
Definitely,
mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we are totally run by volunteers. I have an absolutely awesome team, which is my board. And we manage to hold events through partnerships and through the good graces of people who have like minds. And we definitely just are so anxious to have more members because it's $20 a year. Mm-hmm. And you can join any one of our 4 committees, which I said before was the Bicycle Action Committee, which has done an amazing job here in Cobourg and beyond. And the interesting thing with the Bicycle Action Committee is that it sort of put a focus on the whole cycling culture here in not only in Cobourg but in Northumberland County.
Do you find there is a large group of people who are out there biking now, more so than ever?
Absolutely, it is global, mm-hmm. And I think not a small portion of those people are really those kinds of individuals who not only talk the talk but walk the walk. Mm-hmm. They know that climate change is a reality and that greenhouse gas emissions are a huge threat. Mm-hmm. And that one little way that you can change that is don't drive.
Well, I mean, the thing is, too, is that Paris just signed it in just the other day.
That's right, on December 15th.
Yeah, and I know that Trudeau just met with Obama.
Right, and Obama right away I think it was exactly on December 15th, 2015, when the accord was signed, Obama contributed $500 million mm-hmm. for the Green Fund that was going to help the developing countries deal with their greenhouse gas emissions. So he put his money where his mouth is because he was a big proponent of that accord.
But I've also noticed that they've not really been doing too much in the U.S.
They haven't signed. Mm-hmm. Everybody, the whole process is still evolving because now the leaders, the 55 parties that were there, the big heavy hitters in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, they need to sign on April 22nd, which is interesting because that's really our Earth Day.
That is Earth Day.
So
for
it's
sure.
kind of a momentous day.
I'm glad it's going through now as opposed to next year, because I don't think
It's this year.
Yes, I know, and I don't think the president next year would probably be involved with that.
We are, talking about limbo land, so we'll see what's going on. We know in our country that we have an advocate and a proponent that is going to really be a heavy hitter in terms of what's going to happen in this country to deal with our climate action plan.
I also find that when you're dealing with things like the Greenbelt area, now I just found out recently that our Greenbelt area only goes up to Durham, doesn't come out here.
I know, because you had my VP, Jane Finn, here talking about that, and that was such an awesome, awesome event that we had on February 24th. Why is that?
Why is that for sure? And the thing was that I noticed is that because we're all sort of encompassed in what is commonly referred to as a horseshoe of Lake Ontario,
the Greater Golden
Horseshoe
right.
area. I was totally surprised at the fact that there was a wall and it stopped.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well,
just
it's
before
confusing
Clarington.
though, because you see these signs everywhere that say Greenbelt route.
Well, this is it, and you see them beyond Durham, heading out towards this
and
area.
You're going, wait a minute, what does this mean?
Exactly.
And basically, there's a lot of. I spoke with Lou Rinaldi, and I gave him, because we had a petition that we got people to sign on Facebook. We had awesome support. And basically, this had to do with the recommendations about planning from the David Crombie report. And that report is going this month. So one of the recommendations was grow the Greenbelt, expand the Greenbelt, keep it moving, because the Greenbelt has been in effect from up to Durham since 2005. So it was a 10-year anniversary. It was supposed to have been reviewed every 5 years, but then they changed it and made it 10 years. So consequently, 2015 was the date for review. David Crombie did like a legion of across the table talks with people and town halls and phone in, as many people as knew about it and wanted to make a contribution. It was listened to, and we of course made a submission on behalf of Sustainable Cobourg and our membership. So so the confusion is around the Oak Ridges Moraine, because everybody's saying, wait a minute, the Oak Ridges Moraine is in the Greenbelt, and they wouldn't be wrong. But when you look at the Oak Ridges Moraine, you see that it goes Tobermory, and it has a whole legal protection that is completely separate and above.
Well,
it's
fair to say that there are some areas in the Northumberland area that is protected, though.
The Oak Ridges Moraine, sure.
And but I have to agree that I think the whole entire area, at least going out to Trenton, should be classified as the Greenbelt area.
For us, it was the Iroquois Plain, which is that area just below Rice Lake, which really is kind of the, I want to say, watershed that protects the Oak Ridges Moraine. In other words, so you've got the Oak Ridges Moraine, all that water that's being purified, and all the flora and fauna that are sequestering carbon, because that's one of the natural ways that our planet has evolved in order to deal with greenhouse gases. So, we're emitting carbon all the time naturally, but what has created a tipping point is that through our burning of coal, through our use of so many cars and fossil fuels.
Other than the vehicles in and around the Northumberland area, there's not a lot of plants.
Well, we had closed them all down in Ontario. That was one of the things when I was campaigning with Lou Rinaldi. I was campaigning, I guess it was a year and a half ago now, maybe 2 years. That was one of the big kudos that I had to give to the Liberals for really really standing firm on no more coal.
Well, I also think that was also the platform of the Green Party as well.
It was, for
and
sure.
The thing is they sort of, I don't know if it was to cap some of the emissions coming out of some of the plants. I look at the GM plant, for instance, who was just pumping out a lot of stuff out of their chimney stacks. Apparently, they have cut it back to almost to half, I heard.
Well, that's good for them.
Yeah, that was
but
the
there
thing,
you
though,
go.
right?
If there's a will, there's a way. So all we have to do is what Sustainable Cobourg tries to do in partnership with so many other wonderful organizations, including the town, is to shine a light on those things that are doable. So it is doable to expand the green belt into our wonderful, beautiful Northumberland County. It is doable to cut greenhouse gas emissions.
Are they still talking about doing that? Is that on
For
the
sure?
table
Yeah,
still?
that absolutely is. So when I went to see Lou last Friday, and handed him the petition, just basically to say, go for it. You have our full 100% support. This is something from the grassroots up. We are totally in agreement. One of the interesting, we had a panel discussion when we had the event at the Loft, and I have to give a shout out to Ken Prue for being such an awesome partner to Sustainable Cobourg on so many levels. We are definitely kindred spirits. So, it feels like an emotional high every time we sit down and have a chat, because it's like, yay, my soulmate. I can see that we're on the same page.
Absolutely.
And we support each other. Yeah. So that it's just fantastic. But at that panel discussion that we had, some really, really interesting perspectives, because sometimes people get tunnel vision. They kind of only just see their own little part of the world. And one of the participants was speaking on behalf of a certain contingency that really sees the Greenbelt as just another layer, the Greenbelt proposed legislation, as another layer of sort of bureaucracy. And I thought, wow, how misinformed you are. This is a layer of protection, and it is ensconced in a law to protect the flora, the fauna, the watersheds, the beauty, the natural rhythms that are there that give us such an incredible environment. So I thought, we managed to persuade a few people, and one of the great assets that we had in that panel was Albert Botha, who runs Shropshire Farms and is a lamb farmer, and he was just such an eloquent spokesperson from the perspective of the farming community and what the benefits of expanding the Greenbelt in Northumberland would mean to the farming community, rather than seeing it as an adversarial thing, seeing it literally what it's meant for, which is to be complementary to people who are, concerned about maintaining the stability of the natural processes that go on
the
a
balance
farm.
there, for sure.
But the other committees are so Bicycle Action Committee is huge, and out of that, one day we were having a meeting, and Rick Nonica said, "You know what we need? We need a bike shop. Like, we need a bike shop that is accessible." So they came up with this plan, and this is how Go Green Together really became a vehicle through which they were able to get funding to create Cycle Transitions, which is at the back of our building at 739 Darcy Street.
Now, that's a place where people can go get their bikes repaired.
Yeah.
Now, that's is there a cost on that?
The cost, it's a membership thing, and it's very, very affordable. I mean, it's graded to, whether you're a kid or an adult or whatever. There are all kinds of ways that you can discuss with the people who are there, and they're all volunteers. If you can't afford it, we'll make it happen. Don't worry. You'll get a bike. You'll learn how to use it. You'll learn how to fix it. because that's the mandate that we have is we want people doing active transportation. Because if you're, first of all, it's a health benefit, number one. Secondly, it's not only the health benefit for you as an individual, but for your community and for the whole ecological environment. So it's a win-win-win situation.
For everyone involved, eh?
And then out of that, Anita Macklin and Randy Alban started the Northumberland Riders. I'm sorry, Anita, if I've misnamed your group. But so out of that culture, that cycling culture, that people, the entry levels are all at different levels. Either you're a newbie and you just want to, be among people that you think you can learn from, or you're a seasoned professional and you want to share a little bit of what you know, or you just want to be with a bunch of people that love cycling, or you just want to look at, at the different routes that are available and just do something that is, physical.
Have you guys got a bike ride coming up?
That is something that we usually do, Bike for the Planet, in May. Because of my being involved with the Greenbelt thing, I haven't really kept tabs, but I know that the Bicycle Action Committee is very much involved in the CAN bike, the training for school kids.
Right.
So they go to school. So I'm a great proponent of Bike for the Planet because I think it really, because I know Gil Brockanier enjoys it.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of a little, tootle around the town. And the last time I went, I fell off and broke my arm. So just shows you got to be careful and know your limits.
Exactly.
So.
There you go. We've been talking about Sustainable Cobourg, and of course, Gigi, she's the president of this growing movement, if you will. It's been around for, again, you were saying it's been around for since 2008.
So 8 years.
We're almost at our 10th year anniversary. Do you know anything about the Blue Flag movement that's going on?
Basically, that is something that the town has taken on. I know when I was sitting on the Environmental Advisory Committee, we were looking at that, and certainly it's something that it can only benefit the town.
Well, there's very few places, well, actually, there's quite a lot of them all over the world, but very few places in North America that have actually had that honor bestowed upon them.
I think we're pretty close to. There's certain, it's a checklist of things that you have to meet, certain qualifications and recommendations, but I think we're pretty darn close if we haven't already met them all.
Yeah, I think we met a good majority of them. I remember going to a presentation last year, and I thought it was well put out, well thought, well founded, and of course the beach itself. I mean, that is the draw here.
For sure.
A lot of people come down.
And the people.
Well, the people as well, but I mean, there has to be something to bring you to the community.
Yeah, well, that's what we're hoping to do too. One of our committees is called the Town Hall Committee, and we've been working for, I would say the last 5 years on trying to build a sustainable community in the brownfield that's known as the Tannery District. And now that the town has actually made that a priority, it's just my heart sings just thinking of the potential that is going to evolve out of that commitment. There are certainly partners from Sustainable Cobourg, but also from other areas and interested grassroots interests. The Tannery District Citizens Group, for example, led by Rich Thiessen, is a group that has huge expertise in helping the town visualize how this is going to be such a substantial asset. Instead of just sitting there and being a brownfield that everybody's kind of like freaked out about because, oh my gosh, the tannery was there, it's contaminated. Well, now we know after years of testing that the contamination is not at any level any kind of a problem for residents or for building or anything like so. Hopefully that's been put to rest.
Well, they're doing a lot of building down there anyway. They put that little subdivision down there, if memory serves.
Well, that's a whole different issue. Ah, don't get me started on that. That's not about sustainability at all. So the vision for the Tannery site is geothermal, like one of the presentations that I made on behalf of Sustainable Coburg was to have a vision for, it actually followed on the charrette that they had in 2009, where the people that participated in that were all of the same mind, that this area could be such an asset for the town and do the connection with the downtown and the beach. So as you say, we need a destination.
Well, does anybody actually steamheading this particular movement? Is the DBIA, for instance, in downtown Coburg, they're on board with what Sustainable Coburg is looking to put forward?
I think DBIA, I'm not sure, but I know that there are the people that were involved in the downtown vitalization and the community implementation plan, which is, or sorry, not implementation, community improvement plan, which there's going to be an open house in at Vic Hall, I think today, for
what
people.
Time?
Oh gosh, I really don't know. I think it's in the afternoon sometime, or maybe even in the evening. Sorry, I don't have that right on the top of my head here. But yeah, you can definitely phone the town and find out when. But yeah, there's a convergence of our vision, Sustainable Coburg's vision, now that the town has changed its governance and reassembled various advisory committees, so that now we have it's called PSAC, the Planning Sustainability Advisory Committee. Oh my gosh.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
It is. It's a long one. But so essential to have that view of sustainability throughout any of the advisory committees that are there, because we know that we have not only a provincial government that is really committed to dealing with climate change, but also a federal government, because both of our environment ministers are now not just Ministry of the Environment, it's now Ministry of the Environment and Climate Change. So that is a huge pronouncement as far as we're concerned, that we are moving in the direction of really dealing with greenhouse gas emissions.
If people want to get involved with what's going on with Sustainable Coburg, how can they do that?
Right. You can call 905-269-9355, or you can go online to www.sustainablecoburg.ca, and we're hoping that you will be available on Saturday, this coming Saturday at 4. Our doors will be open at 3:30 for coffee and little tidbits and conversation.
And where's that? Down at Town Hall?
739. It's 739 Darcy, which is the Go Green Together building. And Sustainable Coburg is hosting the second speaker in its speaker series, Ian McVeigh from the Ontario Climate Consortium, who is going to talk about the whole impact of what the Paris Accord of last December is going to mean for our protecting our home, our country, and our world. And of course, as most environmentalists, we tend to think globally and act locally. And that is certainly the format for the Paris Accord, because the accord was reached by there were 195 participating countries. 195! Oh my gosh! And there were 55 signatures on that, representing the 195 countries. So, and this is the change from this accord, from, let's say, the Kyoto Protocol, is that this is a bottom-up agreement, not a top-down. So there's no penalties, there's no enforcement. It's moving in the direction that Gro Harlem Brundtland, who was who did the Brundtland Report in, I think, in the 1990s for the United Nations, She had been a prime minister of Norway, and she was the first person who basically said, "Listen, guys, we got to do something. Our world, and especially the developing countries, are in like serious trouble with climate change."
This has been an ongoing thing for many, many years.
Oh my gosh,
And
since 1945.
And the thing is that finally, people are starting to get a handle on it. Now, there are some leaders or potential leaders who do not even believe that this is even an issue. Donald Trump comes to mind.
Well, he's not a leader.
Not yet.
No,
not
he's not.
yet.
No,
Not
he's
yet.
not.
My guest this morning has been Gigi Ludorf Weaver.
Thanks.
And I want to thank you for joining me. Why don't you come back and join me?
I'd love to.
It would be great to have you talk a little bit more about that. I wouldn't mind seeing you shortly after the Saturday event because we would
Okay.
like to know what's going on. Again, guys, I urge everyone to come on out, support the Sustainable Coburg movement. And again, lots of great things going on as well. If you're a bike rider, lots of great information. Where can people go again to get their bikes looked after if they want to be?
It's called Cycle Transitions, and it is at 739 Darcy at the back. There's all kinds of parking if you need to use a car in the back. And just right across from the
CCC.
The CCC.
Absolutely. Guys, my guest this morning, Gigi, I want to thank you. You've been a pleasure to have with me. I'm glad you were able to join me.
Appreciate it.
And, it's just a lot of great things going on. Sustainable Coburg. Definitely come out Saturday at 4 p.m. It's a great opportunity to find out what's going on and, of course, to find out exactly what the Paris Accord is all about. If you have any questions or any kind of concerns, there will be professional people there who know what it's all
the
about.
Ontario Climate Consortium,
Absolutely.
huge organization.
And again, I want to thank you for joining me here this
You're
morning.
very welcome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.